In 2015, the mobile game industry was caught by surprise with a sudden foray of an upcoming contender. But one thing is certain, Fallout Shelter's meteoric rise to the top of the charts was no accident. Although the strong showing only lasted for a couple of weeks, the post-apocalyptic theme simulation game was still able to sustain a massive following, generating a total of 150 million downloads throughout its successful ongoing run. What's up guys, I'm Pao for EP Game Reviews, and in this episode, I'll be dissecting Fallout Shelter's key components to divulge the game's winning formula, highlight the gameplay elements that made it stand out from the rest, as well as analyze the areas where it fell short in terms of overall gaming experience. Having received multiple awards and a multitude of downloads, Fallout Shelter is undeniably an outstanding game. But before its successful campaign, it was just an idea spewed in someone's creative mind. It has to start somewhere. To satisfy this burning curiosity, let us first have a quick rewind. Fallout Shelter is a freemium mobile game, which is also a spin-off from the popular Fallout franchise. It is a series of action-packed RPG video games that is set in a futuristic, post-apocalyptic open-world environment filled with genetically mutated creatures and NPC dialogue interactions. The first Fallout was developed by Interplay Entertainment back in 1997. A year after that, they quickly followed it up with Fallout 2 under Black Isle Studios, which also serves as a division and subsidiary company of Interplay. The third installment was supposed to be released still under Black Isle Studios, but due to financial strains, Interplay declared bankruptcy and decided to shut down Black Isle. Despite that, the development of Fallout 3 was almost finished at the time. So in 2003, with no other options left as well as to salvage the production of Fallout 3, the license to develop was sold to Bethesda Softworks, a studio company best known for their Elder Scrolls series. Finally, the revamped version of Fallout 3 was released in 2008. Since then, the succeeding Fallout sequels were made under the development of Bethesda's umbrella. As early as 2009, rumors began swirling around about a possible Fallout game on handheld platforms. After several years of back and forth, Fallout Shelter finally came to fruition on June 15, 2015 for iOS and August 13, 2015 for Android, under the care of Bethesda Game Studios in collaboration with Behavior Interactive. Fallout Shelter is a resource management simulation game that allows players to build and manage rooms which are situated in an underground vault. As a designated overseer, your primary goal is to prevent the depletion of water, food, and electricity through the help of your vault dwellers. Each vault dweller possesses unique abilities, and they can be allocated to specific resource-generating structures to maximize efficiency throughout the vault. They also have a happiness level that must be maintained to boost their overall productivity, and their individual levels can be increased as well. Aside from the vault activities, dwellers can also be sent outside to the wasteland to gather loot such as weapons, gears, and cool items. Players will keep progressing as long as the number of dwellers increases. This can be accomplished by recruiting survivors from the wasteland or through the good old-fashioned baby-making process, which can be triggered by throwing over-the-top cheesy pickup lines. Like it's so big of a deal that someone even made an article about it. New rooms become available once the required number of dwellers has been met. And from that point on, it's just all about non-stop building and expanding through one's heart's desire. Fallout Shelter was able to climb on top of the iOS grossing charts in 48 different countries upon its release. That's right, 48. According to game journalists, the shocking success it had can be attributed to the timing of its release. In 2015, while promoting the upcoming release of Fallout 4 in the E3 Expo, Bethesda caught everyone off guard by announcing the release of Fallout Shelter on iOS on that very same day. The seemingly surprising announcement was in fact a well-planned marketing ploy according to Bethesda's VP of Marketing, Pete Hines. He stated that if they release the mobile installment without any Fallout 4 in plain sight, the avid fans of the franchise will be extremely upset, and the mobile spin-off will surely receive a negative backlash from the Fallout community. Instead, they released Fallout Shelter as a filler and teaser so that Fallout supporters can play something for free while waiting for Fallout 4. Genius! By announcing Fallout Shelter's release in the biggest gaming conference of the year, the game has generated quite a lot of buzz and was able to make a whopping $5.1 million in its first 2 weeks. And that's not all. It even toppled the freemium juggernaut Candy Crush just 2 days after its release. Wow! In 2016, it was played by 50 million active players, and the year after that, Bethesda announced that they have surpassed 100 million downloads. A very impressive feat for a 2-year-old game. Fast forward June 2019, exactly 4 years after its debut, Fallout Shelter has already made $100 million and has been downloaded 150 million times for both iOS and Android. It has also earned a total of $68,000 per day on average, with the US region taking the biggest chunk of its global market share, followed by UK, Germany, Canada, and Australia. Without a shadow of doubt, Fallout Shelter has made an indelible mark in the mobile gaming landscape. But how did a simple offshoot mobile game make such a huge splash within a short period of time? One of the things Fallout Shelter did right from the get-go was establishing the right monetization structure. Most free-to-play grinding games of today heavily influence players to buy in-game currencies to speed up their progress, the classic grind or pay trade-off. But in Fallout Shelter, the developers have completely removed the building timers, and players only get to experience manageable hazards such as fire or rat roach infestation when activating the building boost option. As a result, players can enjoy the game's core loop without encountering some sort of paywall. In addition to that, the game doesn't have those annoying advertisements that keep popping everywhere, which you can usually see in F2P games. Without paywall or ads, how does the game earn money then? Instead, the game relies heavily on the optional in-app purchases as their primary source of profit generation. Majority of the in-game offerings for Fallout Shelter runs in a gacha system, with the exceptions of the Nuka-Cola Quantum Bundles, the game's premium currency, and the robots that automatically collect players' unclaimed resources. The loot boxes, or in this case, lunch boxes, contain collectible cards, which can then turn into various goodies like bottle caps, gears, extra amount of resources, and pets. The lock-based mechanism allows the paying players to feel that they're not cheating the game that much, since they will have no idea what they're going to get. Unlike the traditional microtransaction stores, where they can directly purchase soft and hard currencies regularly, which then can lead to an unfair playing field against non-paying players. Now that we have talked about Fallout Shelter's main strength as a mobile game, let us go now to the other side to discuss some areas of the game where it has literally fallen out. In terms of gameplay content, the Fallout spin-off missed out to include a social feature. After building the last room and reaching the Dweller's Cap, the players virtually don't have anything to look forward to besides maintaining the overall status of the vault. Without any multiplayer aspect, the game becomes dragging, and player engagement might present an issue for the developers, as some players are driven to play F2P games that have competitive elements. It can also affect their user retention strategy in the long run, as social dynamics play a crucial role in mobile game ecosystems. Due to this obvious mishap, Bethesda quickly rectified the situation by releasing an online RPG sequel of the game, which is entitled Fallout Shelter Online. However, it's only exclusive in China for now, and Fallout fans will have to get their hands full while waiting for its global release. As of today, Fallout Shelter currently sits at the 135th spot in the free simulation game category for the iOS top app charts, and ranks number 85 at the Google Play Store in the same category. Even though it skated from its once held top position, it still enjoys a positive overall rating with a score of 4.76 for iOS and 4.62 for Android. Fallout Shelter teaches us that free-to-play games don't necessarily have to be evil in its microtransactions to produce an addicting yet engaging core loop. Despite its repetitive gameplay, it still resonates to the typical casual gamer who just want to see their underground inhabitants flirt and make babies with each other while trapped in an infinite cycle of hard labor. That's a wrap on this edition of EP Game Reviews, and for more comprehensive game analysis, be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you'll be constantly updated with new games that we're going to cover. Once again, this has been Pao, and see you next time.